MANNEQUIN is an asymmetrical multiplayer hide-and-seek VR first-person shooter, and it just became free to play. People had been paying for this game since its launch, and they just announced this is now free. In this game, up to 5 people go in as either agents or mannequins. Mannequins can hide in plain sight while the agents try to track them down with tools and weapons, but the mannequins can unfreeze and ambush the agents, taking them out by touching them. The game has been out a while, nearly 500 reviews, gives it a 4.7 star rating. People saying it's super fun, it's the best game ever, it's just addictive, they spend so many hours on it, and even in all this time, only 1-star review and someone saying basically they just couldn't find anyone to play in the match, and a few complaints about glitches and people just being way too good at the game in the other lower reviews, but very few low reviews and completely free to try. Although if you do want to unlock skins and mods, you will have to pay for the upgraded $10 version. On the Quest, one of the biggest games of all time is Job Simulator, and from these same developers comes Dimensional Double Shift, which you can play free right now on Quest. This game really feels like a 4-player cooperative version of Job Simulator, although it does use hand tracking, which we all know at times can be buggy. But it uses puzzles where multiple of you may be working on a car, but one of you needs a piece that only someone else can craft, and you have to work together to get this done. And it hasn't been out for long, but has already racked up over 500 rings, giving it a bit more of a rough 4.0 star rating. People saying they love this game, people giving suggestions in the comments of what else it needs, but a lot of people in the low reviews complaining about how it's only hand tracking, people bringing up early access and how they can't even get it to load, and people really complaining about how you have to have players to play with, and it's a multiplayer only game, even though Alchemy Labs' other games like Vacation and Job Simulator were both playable by a single person. I'll say personally, I got to try this with a group of content creators back at Gamescom, and it is really fun when you're in with friends, but of course hand tracking does pose an issue. I would love a controller mode and a single player. Population 1 is a shooter that's been out for years on Quest, and it went completely free to play a while back. It's basically VR's version of Fortnite, although now there's more than one mode. Traditionally, you drop into a battle royale, you fly into the map, you can climb anything, you can build obstacles and forts. The game's been out for over 4 years and still has a very devout following, people who are new to Quest and people who have been playing for a long time, and with that 15,000 reviews puts us about a 4.3 star. Not as high as you might expect, but people saying it's a fantastic game, it's the best battle royale you can get, and it's so good. But people complaining that as the years have gone on, there's less people in the lobbies, or the people in the lobbies are really good, and it's not good at matchmaking because there's not enough new people playing it. People complaining that the game seems unbalanced for pros and noobs. It is a pretty unmatched battle royale shooter in the world of VR, but no, you're either going to have to put in some serious time to get good enough to keep up with people in the lobbies, or you're going to want to go in with friends. Hyperdash is another free-to-play multiplayer shooter that's been around for years now, but still gets free updates. A game with very fast-paced combat action. You can dash and sprint and even rail grind through the map, now with added offline modes and bots that you can even play on your own, and a game with quite good graphics for a Quest standalone shooter title. And with that, 3,000 people giving it 4.5 stars, people saying it is an absolutely great game, and even warning you not to listen to the 1-star reviews. People saying it's fun and unique, the dashing in it is so cool, but people saying that at this point the community is dying and they don't recommend it, with the developers even responding to that, saying they'd love to hear any specifics they can continue to work on as they still are trying to build this game. But people saying that there are hackers in the game or bots. Ultimately a game that's been around a while and still getting reviews and updates though. Those of you out there who have played it already, what did you think? Free sports style games make it high up on lists when it's free to play and what people are playing. And Gym Class Basketball VR is a super well-known game out there. It's free, tons of people enjoy it. Sandbox modes, social worlds, the physics engines of it, and now the game has added pay-to-play features, but those are the NBA bundles where you can get the NBA courts and the branded apparel. But if you want to get in, check it out free, you still can, and over 57,000 people say it's 5 stars, so maybe you should. 95% 5-star ratings. People saying this game is amazing, and every time they need to have fun, this is their go-to game. People saying they love the game, they love the skins in the game, and people saying there's a reason that this is one of the highest rated games out there. With 57,000 ratings, that puts it almost up to where Beat Saber's at with ratings, but an even higher score than it or Gorilla Tag. And if you look to the lower reviews to see what people say, it's definitely community issues. A lot of people being toxic in there, people saying the game needs better moderation, people saying they did get banned, so apparently there is some moderation, and some people saying Big Ballers is better. Monkey Do, a game that's been out a while and at first glance kind of looks like a Gorilla Tag clone, but a game that has you flying all around, chasing down coins from each other, trying to escape the alligator that's swimming in the pond down below. Or is it a crocodile? I can never remember. But 5,800 ratings, giving it a 4.5 star rating. Most important review you'll probably find in the review section saying it's so skibbity. People saying it's the best monkey game, obviously, firing shots at Gorilla Tag, but people in the low reviews, same things, bugs, rude kids, and people just saying there's no way anything is ever better than Gorilla Tag, and this can't possibly be. Vegas Infinite was once called Poker Stars, and this is a casino gambling simulator, but as they of course say for legal reasons right off the bat, it's not a gambling product and does not provide an opportunity to win real money. If you want the experience of walking into a casino in VR, this is definitely the closest you can get so far. A game that still has events all the time and over many years now has racked up over 28,000 ratings, giving it a lower 3.9 star. People saying this is why they play VR though. People saying it's a great game. People have been playing it for 5 years and it feels just like playing poker in real life, but some people saying that over the years it's really died out. People saying they've lost touch with their players and it's turning into a money grab, and people complaining about how they really try to enforce the 18 and up rule only, but that kids have still been able to buy stuff before getting into the game and then wasting their money in essence. I've played this game a good amount, and if you love casinos and you love that feeling, you will like this. If you don't, you won't. If you've always wanted to be Spider-Man and you've already tried Web Guy, the original to this, Untangled is a newer version, new mechanics. You fly all around a city, different stunts you can do, spin moves and everything. Great if you have your VR legs and you can handle this, but if not, you could get yourself really sick. Surprisingly, although Web Guy was really popular, Untangled has a pretty low score, 3.7, almost 600 people rating it that way. People saying it's amazing with friends, it's an insane game, they love it, it's the best Spider-Man experience you're gonna get on Quest, but people saying there's no way to turn off the chat, saying that a new update messed it up, and people bringing up the bugs that you're going to get into, especially in a fast-paced game that's rendering this much city. Hopefully they'll continue to update and bring us back though, because there is a pretty big community that really liked Web Guy. BLASTON is a 1v1 dueling PvP game where different weapons spawn around you at different speeds and powers, and not only are you trying to take down your enemy, but you also have to dodge their bullets that are moving at you. And with a newer mixed reality mode they added, this game is really cool to play with a friend with 2 quests in person, and it has an active community that does tournaments with this game. Over 2,700 ratings, giving it a 4.4 star rating. People saying it's addictive, it's exciting and fun. People saying it's a great game and it keeps you really active as you're moving around dodging the bullets. People saying it's just a masterpiece, but then people complaining how they've worked so hard to become really good in the game and yet noobs can still take them down. People saying it's hard to find other players, and other people complaining there just hasn't been enough new over the years. But BLASTON is a game we often demo on our tours with VR Zone, and people love it and even come back for the tournaments at the end of the events. WADALITY is a VR multiplayer shooter with an emphasis on a more vertical style of gameplay, and even advertises how the hand swing locomotion in the game drastically reduces motion sickness in players. Another one of the few on this list with a 5-star rating with over 2,400 ratings. 89% of those are 5 stars. People saying they love this game and they play it every day. People saying it's like you took Gorilla Tag and mixed it with a shooter, but you can fly, and people saying they really like the weapon choices. But some people jumping in and giving it 1-star reviews, saying it's trash, with some very edgy comments in their reviews, so bad that the developer literally just responded the word bruh. People complaining about campers, some people giving it a good review saying very good game, still giving it 1 star, and other people bringing up issues with the servers and not being able to get into games. Another one that does have 5 stars, so take that how you will. If you're not someone who does well with being alone in a house on a dark night with some creep peering in the windows, this game is probably not for you. The obsessive shadow puts you in a home with just a flashlight trying to move through the home and seeing a creepy entity keep showing up outside the windows to watch you. With them still adding extra updates to the game even as recently as this month, not a lot of people know about this game, just 40 ratings giving it a 4.5 star. People saying it is really scary, the graphics are good, they just want multiplayer mode. People saying they want to see a full release because it's so good, and the only low written reviews it has citing still some bugs, but when I got into this one and wandered around, it was extremely tense and really creepy. If you want even more Backrooms, experience the original Ducks Backrooms VR. It touts itself as a wacky version of the Backrooms, where the developer even says they used Gorilla Tag locomotion because they were too lazy to write their own locomotion. This is a game that's been out for quite a long time now and has nearly 500 ratings, giving it a 4.2. People saying that they liked the game, but they came back for multiplayer later, it still wasn't there. Multiple people asking for multiplayer on a game with its development is probably long beyond stopped. People saying in the lower reviews, even J-Man Curly made a video trying out the multiplayer mode, said it was supposed to be coming years ago. So if you're looking for some solo Backrooms, this one could be here for you. But it sounds like multiplayer is in the closet somewhere with Half-Life 3. Whether your top fears are darkness, claustrophobia, evil monsters, or arachnophobia, Tunnels will force you to face all of them. This game drops you into a dark world of caves that you have to crawl through, and is so immersive with the movement that I felt terrified I was going to get stuck in some of the tunnels as I was moving through. Add that you hear creepy scratching around you in the darkness and things you need to dodge. This game game can be truly terrifying as it plays on a lot of the most common phobias. If it's too scary alone, they have played around with multiplayer updates for you to check out, and nearly 100 people agreeing that this is a 4.5-star game. People saying it's an amazing story, they can't wait to see the full release. People saying they love it right now at $0, and the way that the game plays and looks are both really good. The developer responding though, saying that it should be coming out around October 24 with a full release, so this might be your last chance to get in and try this game free. If you have a phobia of dolls like I do, CRAWLSPACE might be a little much for you. A game in the horror genre where you take an odd job and have to survive so many nights of doing it. You have to try and get through the crawl spaces and the nooks and crannies of this home and collect and return each missing doll over 5 nights. The game warns you right in the description, it does include jump scares, but with that, over 500 people have given this thing a 4.5-star rating. People saying it's the scariest game they've played all year, scariest game they've ever played due to the claustrophobia and the darkness. A lot of the low reviews actually saying the game is too scary. People couldn't play this game because of the jump scares, or some people saying they'd play it if there was multiplayer. As we know, that often makes these games less scary. CRAWLSPACE is definitely one to check out, and if you like it, there's actually another one. Big Scary is a newer indie horror virtual reality experience, obviously inspired by games like Gorilla Tag. You and your friends are going to have to learn to navigate quickly through an underground world, running from monsters and navigating the intense environment also as quickly if you want to escape. Over 6,000 ratings, giving this about a 4.6 rating. People saying that the game is incredibly fun, it's really funny, that they love the puzzles, the jump scares, and people are genuinely shocked at how good the game is when you're in it. Although lower reviews on the game talking about getting banned, whether it was justified or not, and people saying that this game was clearly something made for a younger audience, and that the oldest person they've seen was probably around 12. Like many multiplayer free games, Big Scary could be really fun if you have a group of friends you already get in and like to play games with, or if you're someone who really likes gorilla-based games, it's something to check out. It seems that when it comes to free and parkour, people are really enjoying it, with Grab coming up next here on the list. Grab has grappling, hooks, climbing mechanics, and even double jumping mechanics where you can grab through the air. Not only does it have tons of parkour challenges, but you can actually create and share your own level designs with their level editor, and then take your friends in there up to 12 players and play these multiplayer together. Grab's been out a while, it's well known with nearly 10,000 ratings, giving this thing a 5-star rating. People saying it's amazing, and people build really cool things to check out in it. People saying there's tons of different levels of difficulty, so no matter how good you are at the game, you can still have fun. Gets you sweating and moving, and a lot less low reviews on this one, but people saying that if they did decide to support the game and buy the early pack, some people didn't see their coins show up, with the developer saying you need to go back to the store and hit buy again, and they will show up without making you pay. People saying that sometimes they try to save their levels and it didn't work, and as you'll see is a theme with any free multiplayer games, people citing of course the community itself that you might meet while you're in there. You won't see a lot of 5-star rated games on this list though, so if you're gonna check out one, Grab might be the one to check out. So many VR games have tried to make their take on a Rocket League style game, and Sky Strikers is throwing their hat in the ring here. Competitive VR sports similar to soccer, using a Gorilla Tag style locomotion, although people even say that the locomotion is its own and it is very good. This puts you in an arena bouncing around between platforms in the ground trying to knock your ball into the opponent's goal. It already has over 200 ratings, giving it a 4.2-star rating, which is not great, but still decently good for a free soccer style game. People saying it's so awesome, you need to try it out. They love the cosmetics for the soccer. People saying that it does move like Gorilla Tag, but it doesn't feel anything like it, and it is truly unique. And people saying they laugh and live and love all in this game. But people in lower reviews bringing up how it's got bugs. People saying they were a high level and an update wiped that on them. People talking about the community issues that are in there, something you see a lot in free multiplayer games, unfortunately. But if you're looking for a new one with a competitive style, this might be something to check out. Cards and Tankers is probably the longest standing card game in VR. You hang out in a tavern with friends playing a card game, and although the game has been out for years now, it still gets updates even as recently as a few weeks ago. Over 1,500 people saying this thing is a 4.2-star game. People saying the gameplay is a 10, the graphics are an 8, but the community is a 9. People saying the community is the best reason to play this game. People saying there's real depth to the card game and it's really fun to play. And I know from personally being in this game, the moderators do work really hard to keep the community clean. And so if you go looking at the lower reviews, you see a lot of people talking crap about the moderators, saying they got kicked out for reasons they shouldn't have, people complaining about all the warnings, but then other people saying that over the years it has changed and there's been more of a focus in the game on the in-app purchases. This game has long been known as a great game with a great community though, so it might be something to go check out yourself if you're interested. Lost and Found Nightmares is an extremely hard game to find, because if you search Lost and Found Quest, you just find people saying where they found someone's quest, but it was actually suggested by you out there. This is another horror type Gorilla Tag game. It's new, and with over 200 ratings, it does have a 4.5 3.5 star rating. People saying it is a really good gorilla tag horror game. The jump scares are unique. People saying that one of the updates made it the best game. People talking about how they got killed in the game and it was fun. But then in the low reviews, people saying toxic community, they got banned, the servers aren't connecting, the typical stuff you're gonna see. Unless you're truly a fan of gorilla tag based horror games, this might be one for you to skip, but the link will be there for you if you are interested in what you're seeing. In the world of sandbox and hangout games, Blobtown is a new one to pop up, a place where you can craft anything easily with blobs, make avatars out of them, and hang out with your friends. Another game that, although it's pretty new, it's got a rougher rating. 150 people agree this is about a 3.9 star game. People saying it's one of their new favorite games. They love being able to build whatever they want. People saying that it is a nice change of pace because everyone's polite and kind inside the game. People bring up this is truly a social game, and without other people in it, you would get bored in an instant. But a lot of the lower reviews bringing up that they didn't think the texture looked good, they got stuck on loading screens and couldn't get in, or they weren't able to click the buttons inside the game to get them further. It is considered early access, and it looks like something that's truly made for people who want to be creative with unlimited possibility, but something that either you're going to be very creative or very social, or you're going to get bored in. VAIL is one of the biggest shooters in VR. It's been around for years and recently added a whole lot of the game for free to play. This is a game that's been in development for many years now. They claim to have the best in-class mechanics with precisely tuned interactions, and now completely free you can get into the Citadel and try different game modes, although if you do want to buy the VAIL Combat DLC, that will unlock the rest of the game, and that part is not free. This game has not been without its controversy over the years, but now nearly 6,000 ratings gives it a 4.8 star rating. People saying that it is the best competitive VR shooter out there, that it's 5 out of 5 stars, and that it's the best thing in VR so far. But people in the lower reviews saying they were glad they added the free mode so they could try it and find out it wasn't for them. People mentioning how it'll take up 11 gigs of space though, even if you download it free, without unlocking all of the rest of that you'd have to pay for. And people complaining, of course, that they purchased it before it became free, and then it still tried to ask them for the additional to open up the rest of the game after they played. The developers are very active though. They're responding to these even as recently as 2 days ago to all of the low reviews. But at least now, if you've been curious about VAIL all this time, you can get in and try some of it free and see what you think before you make a decision. VRCHAT was long known as one of the biggest VR games in the entire world. It's a social lobby with all kinds of different things now to do. People have built rooms where you could literally play Among Us, or you can just chill and listen to lo-fi together, or you can even sleep in the same room as other people. And it's just the ultimate world creation sandbox hangout app that's been out since even before the Quest itself was, but still gets updates, and with 28,000 ratings has actually a very low rating of a 3.7 star. People are saying all kinds of wild things in the review section though, but if you try and look for the real ones, people say it's amazing. You make friends with total strangers and you can do whatever you want in this world. People saying this is the closest thing to the Oasis from Ready Player One you'll find, and people saying that still the PCVR version's better, but standalone works really well in the Quest. If you go to the 1 stars though, people saying that children shouldn't be allowed in there, it can be a risky place for people to be in together, and that there is plenty of toxic people to be found. Definitely use some caution if you go in this game without a guide your first time on where you go. SHOOTOUT is another newer addition to the Meta Store, totally free. A VR multiplayer shooter that looks like it plays a little bit like the old Unreal Tournament. All different kinds of customizations you can add to your gun to change it out, and they say there's over 1,000 different unique combinations and abilities by the way you build your loadout. You can play the game in PvE mode or jump into 3v3 PvP games, and in the short time the game's been out, it has racked up over 700 reviews, giving it a bit lower of a 4-star rating. People saying it's a cool concept, but it can do with more options like shotguns and sniper rifles. People saying the customizations are incredible. People saying it was great, but they want to see a melee option. Other people saying it's the best first-person shooter in VR. But people in the low reports saying that there are toxic community members, as you're going to see basically with every free VR game that's big, especially shooters. People saying that the newer updates are ruining the heart of the game, or people citing issues where they just couldn't get past certain screens in the game. Usually for me on the Meta Store, if it's below a 4.3, that's kind of time to start thinking it's iffy. But if this one looks super appealing to you, it's something you could check out, and who knows, maybe it'll be a 5-star game for you. So there you have it, 25 more free games for the Quest 3, 3S, and 2. We have tons more games listed here if you want to check them out. Free, paid games, top popular games, so make sure you do that. But thank you once again for being here with me today, and I'll see you in another reality.